Hello, and welcome back to Brewhammer 40k, the internet's home for all Warhammer 40k custom rules for characters, detachments, and units. Today we're going to be going over a custom detachment, the Grot mob. As you know, we just finished Grot week up, and we have a bunch of new works coming out, so I thought there's no better time to make a brand new Grot detachment. As you can see, I'm trying to up the quality of these videos a little more, so I've edited a full detachment list here, and we'll be able to see it all as though it were an official detachment. And for those of you who don't know, here at Brewhammer 40k, we rate things on the 3 Fs. How fun it is, how fair it is, and how flavorful it is. So, we'll get into that back at the end. Let's get into the detachment rule. Sneaky Gits. Grots stand no chance in one-on-one combat, but they excel at setting traps. Gretchen units gain the battle line keyword. Whenever a Grot's infantry unit makes a ranged attack that targets a unit within 12 inches, if they are not sabotaged, roll on the Grot traps table and apply the following effect to that unit. They are considered sabotaged until your next command phase. As you can see, we have a list of effects here. That unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 if they're below half strength. Pretty standard. Next time it makes a ranged attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll. Impactful in some matchups, but not in all of them. And next time this infantry unit moves, subtract 2 inches from their move characteristic. Again, impactful in some matchups, a lot more than others. Does help them act as a very good tar pit, though, especially with 20 coming in at 80 points at time of recording. But we actually have 2 detachment rules. So this is the Grot Opportunists. Grots love picking on weakened prey. Whenever a Grots unit makes an attack against a sabotaged unit, reroll a hit roll of 1. So this is for things like killicans and met guns, and as we'll get into in a minute, the Grot tanks and Grot mega tank from Legends, as this is designed to be ran with those as well. But we'll go through the enhancements first. Got the Keen Eye Looka. So this is for a Grot character model only. Now, you might know, the wise amongst you might know, that there are no Grot characters, at least not non-epic heroes that aren't legends, as there is technically the Red Gobbo. But I have also designed rules for a custom Grot character. He's nothing special. He's basically just 30 points for sustained hits on a unit of Grots, but it does let you put enhancements on that unit. Oh, and I will be making a short about him here soon. Grot character model only. When this model's unit makes an attack against a sabotaged unit, add 1 to the wound roll. This is deceptive, as it's not actually that good. Adding 1 to the wound roll on Grot Blastas is basically nothing, because they are strength 3, 1 shot, no AP, 1 damage, which is basically nothing at all. We've got extra gubbins. Now you may know a Grot vehicle cannot actually take it an enhancement in 10th edition, but in 11th edition, vehicle units will be able to take enhancements along with regular infantry and anything of the like. This adds 2 to the unit's toughness characteristic, so this puts killicans up to toughness 8, which is very tanky for a little tiny dinky unit, or you can put a Grot mega tank up to toughness 11, which, if you're using the legend rules, would probably be a better use, as 11 is a huge breakpoint. You're not getting wounded on 4s by autocannons anymore. Tactical Mind. Grot character model only. When this model's unit rolls on the Grot traps table, you may choose the result instead. This is incredible. This is the go-to enhancement every single time. Getting to get that -2 when you need it, or -1 to hit when you need it, is going to instantly win games if you play it right. And a Grot character model only for Sneaky Gits. While this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have the lone operative ability. This is great for just running around and doing little shenanigans with doing objectives, doing secondaries, doing whatever you may need. Now they have lone operative, and you can actually hide them properly. Moving on to the stratagems, we have a few very useful ones. Go for the eyes. In a shooting or fight phase, one Grots unit that has not been selected to shoot or fight this phase. Next time that model makes an attack this phase, weapons equipped by that unit have devastating wounds. This is already a pretty good 1 CP strat. If that's targeting a sabotaged unit, those attacks deal a critical wound on a roll of 5 up. This turns extra DACA that you might have lying around into deadly weapons against the right foes. I know I've been harkening on a lot on Legends units, but the Grot tanks and Grot Mega Tank can put out a lot of shots. And normally it doesn't matter that much, but when you're dealing mortals on a 5 up, it starts to add up, and you can get a lot of damage out from a very cheap. We got Get Out of There! Your opponent's movement phase, just after an enemy unit has finished a normal advance or fallback move within 12 inches of one of your Grots units. Targeting that Grots unit, and it may make a normal move of up to d6 plus 1 inches. Again, extraordinarily powerful. A reactive move, especially on maybe something like a, lone operative unit of Grots, that can help a ton. And it'll keep them hidden when you don't want them to be seen, and it can possibly win you games if you use it at the right moment. And this one's more of a fun one here. We've got Tech Familiarity. Grots are obviously been around mech guns for a while, so one mech guns unit that has not been selected to shoot this phase. All Bubble Chukka weapons don't require a roll for their Bubble Chukka rule. You may choose the profile, so if you don't know the Bubble Chukka, you normally have to roll on a table to determine what the type of bubble that it shoots out is. And there's an anti-tank one, and there's an anti-infantry one, and then there's one sort of in the middle. Getting to choose will make Bubble Chukkas way better instantly, but maybe you don't run Bubble Chukkas. All other weapons gain Rapid Fire X, where X is their A. Now, this is very situational, the second effect there, because mech guns, I know I haven't pulled up any of the data sheets yet, but mech guns have a movement of 3 inches, which is very low, if you didn't know. But when it goes off, they do have like 36-inch range on their guns. When it goes off, doubling your attacks, doesn't take a genius to figure out doubling your attacks is doubling your damage almost 100% of the time. So, a very powerful one when it goes off, but it won't always go off. Kaboom! Any phase, one Grot's vehicle unit, then we demise rules for that unit trigger on a 3-up this phase instead of a 6-up. So, the thought process behind this, you shoot with a unit of 6 kilocans, you charge them in, you can tank shock if you want, but you don't need to. They do their melee damage because they still do have good melee. And then you use this strat on the punchback, and they blow up on a 3-up instead of a 6-up. That's an average of 4 more mortal wounds. That can easily clear out what's left of a tank after you've charged in and done as much damage as you can. Especially, well, I guess you can't in 11th, you can't double up on stratagems, but Go for the Eyes and Kaboom could have been good. Or if you had Go for the Eyes and Shooting, deal a bunch of bang, 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 bang mortals. Of course, you're only getting it on 5-ups if you've already shot with the Grots unit, so there's a lot of setup required for this, but taking out a tank with a unit of Grots and a unit of kilocans, not bad at all. We have Trapped Shells. Your shooting phase just after a Grots unit has finished making attacks. So this is just Grots, not Grots infantry. Very specific there. One or more enemy unit that was hit by one of those attacks, and you roll on the Grot Traps table and apply the corresponding effect, that unit is now sabotaged. So this lets you shoot out a sabotage from anyone, from maybe your mech guns that you might want to use, and get it a sabotage onto a unit that really needs it. And then you can get the devastating wounds. Suppose you've saved your CP, you can get devastating wounds on a 5-up on pretty much anyone that you could shoot. And that's very, very powerful, especially when you need it. Especially it triggers after you've finished making attacks, so you know if you've done enough damage. Maybe your Bubble Chukka rolls right, and you just blow up whatever tank it is, but maybe you roll wrong. You get the anti-infantry one, you can still shoot it at a tank, sabotage it, and then go for the eyes. And now you're dealing a bunch of crits. And finally, we have Grot Riggers. This one is probably not too powerful. In your command phase, one vehicle unit within 12 inches of a Gretchen unit. That unit regains D6 lost wounds, so that is a lot of lost wounds. If it's a Grots vehicle, it gains a 6-up Feel No Pain ability until the start of your next turn. So, 6-up Feel No Pain is kind of neither here nor there. Obviously, once in a while, it's going to heal up the full 6 wounds. Of course, there's always the chance you heal 1 wound, and you paid 1 CP to heal 1 wound on a tank and get a 6-up Feel No Pain, and then you miss all your Feel No Pains anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it still is a very good ability, even though it's not going to come up in every game. The games that it does come up in, and you do roll those high wounds, it will be a lot more powerful, obviously, and you can probably turn a game around with this. I think the stratagems in this detachment are very powerful at the end of the day. A lot of them are very strong, and they're balanced around the fact you have to run Gretchen for a lot of these to work. Now we're going to get into my final thoughts. So as you know, we rate things here at Brewhammer with the 3 Fs. How fun it is. We'll start with this. I'd say that this is a 4 out of 5. There's a lot of tools to play around with here, and you get to run a lot of units that pretty much never see the tabletop. Mech guns with the bubble chuck are usually too inconsistent to bring, but you get to bring them with the stratagem that will let you enhance and choose their attacks profile. The other mech guns are obviously also improved by that. The Grot tanks and Grot Mega Tank probably never see the table, but I'm sure if you're using custom rules, your opponent might be fine with that, and they're honestly really fun models to use because they just have so many shots, and with those shots actually being able to do something, yes, you're hitting on 4s because you're Grots, probably hitting on 5s and 11th with the new cover rules, but that's fine. You don't mind. You really don't mind. It's really quite a fun detachment. You just are throwing a ton of shooting dice, and you're doing sneaky things with Grots, and it's fun all around. How fair it is? 4 out of 5. I don't think that anything in this detachment is overpowered. Rerolling ones to hit, not too powerful. Most of the effects you don't get to choose, and if you do have your one unit of Grots that you do get to choose with, that unit's probably dying, because it's a unit of Grots, and at the end of the day, they're toughness 2 infantry with a 7-up save, so they die. They die very hard. And I don't think that any of the stratagems are too powerful. Maybe the mech guns one, but your opponent knows about it, and they can stay out of rapid fire range, and the mech guns basically have no power to get within rapid fire range of their own volition. So unless your opponent is playing strictly melee, like I'm talking skew World Eaters, because it's not like the mech guns are very tanky. Skewed World Eaters, none of their new rapid fire stuff that, well, I guess new is a strong word. None of their rapid fire stuff, then yes, it will be powerful in that matchup. But for the most part, I don't think that it's going to be too overpowered. And obviously, every detachment is going to have a good matchup to go into. Every list has better and worse matchups that you go into. So I think having one thing that you really excel at, I mean, this will lose so hard against some armies. Space Marines with a bunch of extra bolters, you're just going to kill Grots before they ever get close to you. Same goes for Guard. Same goes for World Eaters most of the time. I mean, if they can take out your mech guns and then they just charge your Grots down because obviously they drop like flies. I mean, that's obviously the trade-off of this detachment. You do get some powerful rules, but the problem is you have to run Grots. And you have to run them in an offensive manner, which means you're going to be struggling a lot of the time. And finally, we have how flavorful it is. 3 out of 5. I know I normally rate the flavor pretty high because I prioritize it a lot when I'm making these rules, but I feel like the flavor of the Grots gets lost a little here. Yes, Grots do sabotage, and that's why it's not a 2 or a 1, but I had played around with the idea of it being a Battle Shock based detachment, and then all the Grot sabotage buffs happen on a Battle Shock unit instead, but I sacrificed that for the fun and the fair, because Battle Shock is just horrible. Like, it is a terrible rule, at least in 10th edition it was. Maybe in 11th it'll be better. Maybe I'll come back and rewrite this detachment, but as it stands, Battle Shock is unusable, and basically all of the Battle Shock units are terrible. Having Grots shoot and roll a Battle Shock test on your enemy is not a good detachment rule. So even though that would have been more flavorful, it would have been horrible. And as we've seen in the past, almost all the Battle Shock based detachments are terrible. And I didn't want this to be a flavorful detachment that no one would run, because it's custom rules at the end of the day. You're already having to go out of your way to play with these rules. I want it to be fun when you do. But anyway, that's just my thoughts. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. There will be playable rules in the description, as always. If you want to see your own stuff reviewed, or if you want to see custom rules made for one of your units, or detachments, or anything of the sort, let me know in the comments, or email me in the description as well. Am I right about these rules? Is the mech gun stratagem broken? Or maybe the go for the eyes stratagem is just so busted that it instantly makes this entire detachment worth taking. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one.